Okay, so today I'm going to go over the changes that I made in all the scripts here. So the main attractions are the planning and the farm scripts. Obviously the farm script is not really final, but it's more optimized than the planning Java script, since as you can see here I have around 64 if statements that basically what this does is it calls the dirt sprite, which I have here, and it draws that where the player has planted a seed. So if I get the seed here and I plant it, so that's basically how it is. But obviously the problems that I have right now are that that is very inefficient, and also when it goes from 1 to 0, it's well, it goes where is it? Sorry to fix this. It obviously goes and deletes the different or doesn't draw the other one, but that's not really the biggest difference or the biggest problem. The biggest problem is right now that these right now don't have a grid that they conform to. You can just plan them wherever you like. Obviously now I fixed that issue. That issue is very easy, but as I said, the only thing that that is the biggest issue is of course this. Right now I don't really know how to make a better version of this, or how to like make a more efficient version. But right now there's like not really something that makes this work in a more proper way. Obviously this I can basically change however I want. I think the 300 might be a good X value, and maybe 170 is a good Y value. And since the planning thing is cost to the planning square here, this is where like the only place where you can plan it, and I've calculated it, and I think that there's around 64 squares in it, so that's why I'm using a array system here to go through and then get all the X and Y values for that array system, where I actually take this array, take Y and array, X and Y array list, and put an integer into the array list, and basically add, I think it's append or something in a few other languages, but it's add here at least, and it adds the values in the direction of where it goes, and also here it basically instantiates the method so it doesn't have an empty basically doesn't have an empty array, because I had issues when I called this method without having this if statement before the drawing. So this just makes sure that this one doesn't it's not empty basically, so there's something you can read if you need it, but I definitely don't need this anymore, but I used it before. Whatever. I think I actually can remove that for now. Let's see how that works. Oh no, never mind. I still have a few. All the if statements are based on that. So that doesn't really matter. There's like one wasted space, one empty wasted space. That's fine for now at least. I'll probably fix that later. But as I said, the things that I'm working on right now is the grid system, and yeah, as you can see, it's still able to go outside of it. But I think the grid system will use that anyway, and it will be fine basically. So the thing that I'm thinking about doing is making a new class here, calling it grid, and basically putting the grid inside or top of the X and Y of this, and then just basically plussing on the array and making it like plus 50 on the X, and then when it comes to the stop, then it goes like that, whatever, depending on where you are. Obviously I don't want you to go like from left to right all the time. I just want you to get a special one special rectangle, and I think I'll just have to honestly make 64 rectangles, which will take time, but I think that's the most, probably not the most efficient way, but the best working way that I could think of right now at least. And also you might be able to see that I fixed the animation. So I think I also drew this one right now. So this is a newer house sprite. Also this is relatively new, but I don't think it's new for this tutorial or this development log. But this house is new. I am probably going to fix it more by removing this upper part and then just only drawing this and having it tilt more, so it's not just flat here or flat here, just so it's, you know, tilting more. I kind of wanted it to look like some sort of a bit nicer house, but I think this works for now. It's pretty decent, definitely. And also I fixed, as you can see, while it goes on, the screen gets darker, and also I skipped over that, but it has a shadow here, and now there's some sort of animation on the idle, and there's also an animation for when he runs. I think that this is definitely a pretty nice plus right now. Also the screen goes a bit gray and the shadow isn't as effective anymore, but that's fine. I think that I might actually get a fit out and alpha value if it goes dark enough. But it goes dark enough, I'll just wait for a few seconds and I'll show you what happens then. I haven't, the day-night cycle is not final, but it's usable right now, and I think that it doesn't really matter right now if it's like this or however else it's going to be. So just wait for this few seconds, and as you can see it gets darker, and I'll show you in a few seconds how I do that. But yeah, now it's really close to being its darkest. And I thought that this was a pretty decent route, since you don't want it to go too quickly, since let's say you want to play the game and you're like just farming and stuff. You don't want it to go like dark or black all the time. And there we go, and it increased the day number here. So also I fixed this issue where now when you close the game it will exit and close. I had this as dispose before. That was dumb of me. I had just basically skimmed over how this works and I just picked dispose, but that was definitely not the correct way of doing it. Also I sort of figured out that booleans don't really work if you put them in static mode, because everything just said no and then my game crashed. So then I'm using numerical, or whatever it's called, booleans, which basically I just have ints and turn them into the on or off position, so 0 or 1, and it works for now. It's just an easy way to use a boolean that actually works. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, as I said, the animation, and here's how I do the animation. It's basically the same way that I do like everything else in here. So the like every other like timeout, that's how I do it, and actually still call them timeout. So I have walking and idle timeout, and the idle timeout is set to loop here, and it's if it goes less than 0, which obviously you don't want, it will, or if it's larger than 0, sorry, it will minus itself and it will go back to the start if it does it. So, and here is how you do that, and you can see here, where is it? There it is. So if walking, if walking, I have walking sprite, and if not walking, then I have idle sprite, and you have the same for these ones, just so that it follows the flip direction and whatever, but that's very easily done. Also, I have removed or commented out the hitbox just so I don't really need it drawn right now, and I'm just trying to get the art like sort of working in a way. And here is the version, or here's how I do this, which is basically just having actually comment this right now. Animation for walking and idle, and here you can see that it definitely is not the most nice looking with a bunch of if statements, but I figured out this is probably the nicest way I'm gonna be able to do it, and it works, and no one's gonna see this code, so I'll just have to live with the notion that this is coded awfully and I can't really do anything about it. But basically, if I'm not walking, then I'm setting the walking timeout always to 9, so this is never gonna go anywhere else, and it's also not like it will always go minus and then it will just go minus, and since there's nothing to stop it, it's just gonna continue going minus, and when I start walking again, it's just gonna always go minus, and it's gonna be stuck at 1 frame. So that's why I reset it, so it's not gonna just continue going here and then just continue going out and never stopping. But right now I do have a stop here, just to make sure that this the last frame repeats itself, or the last 2 frames basically repeats themselves, just so it looks like he's like wobbling up and down when he's walking. I was thinking about just having him like smooth, like crouch down or something, like, and lean forward when he runs, but I saw that this sort of worked. I was like, it looks pretty nice. I say that it also fits the pace that he's running at, so that's fine. And here I have a buffered image array, and then I just take the correct image in that buffered image array and run it. And also, as I said before, I fixed the issue where this is not a final sort of thing. It's movable, so now I can basically, when I build the game, which you can do here, and then build artifacts and then rebuild, you can just place all the sounds into the sprite in this folder and then run it from there. Obviously that's not nice, since someone can change whatever these sound effects are, but I think that'll not be a big of a issue right now, and that's for later me to fix. But this is okay so far, and I've done the same with these. Also, as I said, I have the shadow sprite here. That's basically the thing that I fixed with the player script and the planning and the farm script. So these are the biggest things that I'm working on right now. The day 9 script just looks like this, so it basically changes the RGB codes for let's see here, where is it, for the game panel? No, for the game frame. Where is it? Yeah, here, for the game frame. So this basically, or for the game panel, but it's in the game frame script. So this actually updates the BGC color all the time, 60 frames a second. So that's nice. I tried to do it other way. So this one just codes or calls from a few integers in this, but it just didn't work the way I wanted it, and I thought that this was going to be more effective, so I did it like this. And also I have these two set to go minus, and I set them in different starting points, just so it will always be black. It will never go, or sorry, have a blue tint to it. It will never go red or anything else, so that is fine. I don't think do I use this? Okay, I don't use this anymore. So that's basically how I use it. I don't really need these to be public static. I think since this is the only way, this is basically, it calls back to that, so I don't think that these need to be public static anymore. Am I correct? Yeah, I'm correct. Okay, I'm just gonna start it. Okay. Oh yeah, that's because in here I have it to reset to the starting point when it resets, which is actually a wrong starting point. Whoa, didn't see that coming. Okay, so it's basically goes back to this start when it finishes, and this is just creates a new one. And also this I have this one before it loads everything, just to make sure that if it's less than 0, then since this updates every 60 frames, this is gonna, so it basically works like every other method. All these update methods just run from the top and then goes to the bottom, and then runs again, and then runs again, and then runs again. So it modifies the values, and then when it loads in the function the next circle, it will make sure that the values are at 0 and never under before it throws it into the game frame game panel background, just to make sure that there's no problem with the integers being minus and then you getting a minus color, because that doesn't exist. So that's just an easy stop I've implemented there. I've also started working right now on a few, or I'm starting to prepare myself to work on a few assets. So I've just looked at a few pixel art scenes from elsewhere, and I've started to just see what they do, and I'll try to replicate it in my own ways, since I'm definitely not not even close to being an artist. And I think that so far, I think I've done a pretty decent job with the character and also the dirt sprites, since those are probably the ones that are the nicest. Though I'm gonna try to put some bevels. I'm gonna try to bevel the sides of this somehow and make it so it looks more like someone has used a rake there, or whatever it's called, to make the soil ready for planting. And this is pretty badly done, but I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do it anyways, and I will probably change that later on to something better. And also, as I said, I'm gonna try to perfect the house, but I'm trying to focus on working with the code and getting everything to work in a basic manner before I do anything else. And also, I'm gonna make sure that the car where you can shop is ready, so you can just go to shop and go and shop new spells and stuff. And also, I'm gonna start working on a title screen, but that's gonna be in like a month or so, when I think that I'm ready for title screen creation. And a lot of you might think that title screen creation, well, why are you not doing that first? Because I honestly do title screens a lot, and then I just stop with the game because I'm like, oh wait, I thought about this, and then I just skip everything that I've just done so far. So I'm trying to get a game working, and then implementing the main screen is definitely not going to be that hard. It's just basically drawing a main frame before, not a main frame, what the fuck, drawing a main menu before the game frame, which is actually going to be pretty easy to do. So I'll fix that later, but that's easy to make. So right now, these are the things that I'm working on. The planning of this being in a possibly in a better manner, but right now I'm not really looking for that. I'm only looking for it to be placeable in the grids, which is definitely not going to be hard to do. It's going to be very easy. So that's it. That's how far I've come right now. Hope you're all are enjoying the devlog, and if you have any questions or anything, just ask me. I'll answer them as fast as I can and see if I can help you. If you're trying to use this code for something similar or something, just ask me. I'll try to explain what some of this code does, because I'm not sure what code it was, but I just saw one specific line of code that I was like, what the fuck? I have a few lines of code I don't really fucking know what they're, I don't really know what they're what they do, but I'm gonna try to explain this as good as I can. So, but thank you so much for watching, and check out my Patreon if you would like to help me out to make this some sort of full-time thing, or at least help me right now, since I don't really have a job. I'm trying to look for a job, but since the corona times are since there's corona time right now, that's not really a valid option. But I try to pump these out as good as I can. As I said also before, I'm definitely gonna get into the editing a bit more. This will probably might be the last very bare bones video I'll do. I'll put some more effort into the next one, just so I can also use it for my own for the bettering of my own code, also, and seeing just making everything much better in both editing and coding. But as I said, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, as I said, just write them to me. I'll check it out. And also, if you have a few tips on how I can do anything, that would be very helpful. But yeah, as I said, check out my Patreon. At least, or if you not at least, sorry. If you're interested in any of the prices, that would be very nice and very helpful of you. I'll try to get better quality as I go along here. But thank you for watching, and bye.